to aminacademy.com. In history of Marathas Empire, let us discuss about Chhatrapati Shivaji. Shivaji, born February 19th, 1630 or April 1627 in Shivner, Poona in, in India, died April 3, 1680 in Raigad, was an individual who opposed the Mughal dynasty and founded the Maratha kingdom in 17th century in India. Now we'll do the chronologicals. Shivaji was born on February 19th, 1630, founded the Maratha state. Shivaji founded the Maratha state and captured forts like Torna in 1645. Became Chhatrapati. Shivaji was crowned Chhatrapati in 1674. Battle of Purandar. Shivaji became a vassal of the Mughal Empire after the Battle of Purandar in 1665. Built shortened navy. Shivaji built forts and created a navy to expand the Marathas' influence. Administration. Shivaji established an improved administration, brought back Hindu traditions, and promoted Marathi and Sanskrit. Known for religious tolerance. Shivaji was one of the few rulers of his time who practiced true religious tolerance. Shivaji died after a illness in April 1680 in the mountain stronghold of Raigad. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the founder of Maratha Empire, fought in many wars against the Mughals and other kingdoms. Battle of Torna. In 1646, Shivaji captured Torna fort at the age of 16, beginning his campaign against the Bijapur Sultanate. Battle of Shinhagad. In 1670, Tanaji Malusher, a commander of Shivaji's, fought Udaiban Rathod and fort keeper for the Mughal army chief in Jai Singh I. Battle of Purandar. In 1665, the Maratha Empire fought the Mughal Empire in this battle. After his battle, Shivaji became a vassal of the Mughal Empire and fought for them briefly. Battle of Kalyan. Between 1682 and 1683, Bahadur Khan of the Mughal Empire defeated the Maratha army and took over Kalyan. Battle of Sangamner. In 1679, this was the battle in which Shivaji fought. Maratha Portuguese War. Between 1683 and 1684, the Marathas invaded Portuguese Konkan and plundered Portuguese-controlled towns and villages. Shivaji was an expert in guerrilla warfare, known as Ganimi Kawa in Marathi. His tactics were designed to surprise and defeat armies sent against him. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Afzal Khan were involved in series of events that led to the Battle of Pratapgarh, a major military victory for the Marathas. Afzal Khan was a general in the Bijapur Sultanate who was sent and subdue Shivaji, a former vassal who had rebelled against the Bijapur government. Afzal Khan and previously murdered Shivaji's older brother Shambhaji in battle. Peshwa. The Peshwa was the chief minister or Mukhya Pradhan of the Maratha Empire. The first Peshwa was Morampant Pingle, appointed by Shivaji to lead the Ashta Pradhan or Council of 8 Ministers. The Peshwa's rule became more powerful over time and they eventually became the de facto rulers of the empire. Now let us discuss further about that about Chhatrapati Shivaji in detail. Shivaji was descended from the line prominent nobles India at the time of his birth. In 1630 was under Muslim rule. The Mughals in the north and the Muslim Sultanate of Bijapur and Golconda in the south. All three ruled by a right of conquest with no pretense that they had any obligations towards those who they ruled. Shivaji, whose ancestral estates were situated in the Deccan and the realm of the Bijapur Sultanate, founded the Muslim oppression and religious persecution of the Hindus so intolerable that by the time was 16. He convinced himself that he was the divinely appointed instrument of the cause of Hindus, a conviction that was the sustained him throughout his life. Collecting a band of flowers, he began about 1655 to seize the weaker Bijapur outpost. In the process, he destroyed a few of his influential coreligionists who had aligned themselves with the sultans. All the same, his daring and military skills combined with his sternness towards the oppressors of the Hindus won him much admiration. His depredation grew increasingly audacious and overcame the minor expeditions sent against him, challenging the Mughals. When the Sultan of Bijapur in 1659 sent an army of 20,000 under Afzal Khan to defeat him, Shivaji, pretending to be intimidated, emphasized the force deep into difficult mountains terrain and then killed Afzal Khan at a meeting to which he had lured him by submissive appeals. Meanwhile, hand-picked troops that had been previously positioned swooped down on the unwary Bijapur army and routed it overnight. Shivaji had become a formidable lord, possessing the horses, the guns, and the ammunition of the Bijapur army. Alarmed by Shivaji's rising strength, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb ordered his victory of the south to march against him. Shivaji countered by carrying out a daring midnight raid right with the viceroy's encampment. The viceroy lost the fingers of the hand and his son was killed, which prompted him to withdraw his force. Shivaji, as though to provoke the Mughals further, sacked the rich coastal town of Surat. Aurangzeb could hardly ignore such a challenge and sent out his most prominent general, Bizarraj Joy Singh, at the head of vast army, said to number of 100,000 men. Shivaji was compelled to sue for the peace and to agree that he and his son would attend Aurangzeb's court at Agra in order to be formally accepted as Mughal vassals. In Agra, hundred of miles from their homeland, Shivaji and his son were placed under house arrest, where they lived under the threat of execution. Escape from Agra. Undaunted, Shivaji faced illness and, as from a penance, began to send out endrawn out baskets filled with sweets to be distributed among the poor. In August 17, 1666, he and his son had themselves carried past their guards in these baskets. His escape, possibly the most thrilling episodes in the life filled with high drama, was to change the course of Indian history. Shivaji, almost though the product by Shivaji's meteoric rise, Aurangzeb intensified his persecution of Hindus. He imposed a poll tax on them, condoned forcible conversions, and demolished the crown. Independent sovereign. In the summer 1674, Shivaji had himself enthroned with great fanfare as the independent sovereign. His coronation marked the formal beginning of the Maratha Empire. He supported Hindu and majority railed to him as their leader. He ruled his domain for 6 years throughout a cabinet of 8 ministers, a devout Hindu who prided himself as the protector of his religion. He broke tradition by commanding that two of his relatives, who had been forcibly converted to Islam, should be taken back into the Hindus' fold. Even though both Christians and Muslims often imposed their creeds on the populace by force, he respected the beliefs and protected the places of worship of both communities. Shivaji had several wives and two sons. His last years were shadowed by the apostasy of his elder son, who at one stage defected to the Mughals and was brought back only with the utmost difficulty. Shivaji breathed new life into a people that for centuries had reigned, resigned itself a serf, serfdom, and led them against Aurangzeb, a powerful Mughal ruler. Above all, he was one of the few rulers of this time who practiced true religious tolerance. So far, we discussed about Maratha Empire, Chhatrapati Shivaji. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.